Hi everyone, it is Wednesday, February 24th, 2016, and this is episode 58 of Serenova Crafts. I'm your host, Jessica. I can be found as Serenova on Ravelry and Twitter, and as Serenova_Phoenix on Instagram. You can find the show notes for today's episode on my blog or in the Ravelry group. Links are, stuff's in the credits. I do have a Periscope. I've only done it a couple of times. No, I'm not really there a lot. Feel free to message me. If you're new, thank you for watching. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. They're all appreciated. I'm more active on Ravelry than on YouTube, but I do see YouTube comments if you leave me a comment. Today's episode's going to be longer than last week. A bit more to talk about. So before I get going on, my yarny knitting goodness stuff, question for you guys. I'm thinking about changing my Instagram name. I have Serenova_Phoenix because I'd originally made an Instagram, decided I didn't like it, and deleted it under the username Serenova. Then, when Instagram got more popular, I made it again, but because I'd already made an account, deleted the account with the name Serenova, I couldn't remake that account. The username was gone, right? And so, I did Serenova_Phoenix because a phoenix kind of rebirthed from the ashes. I was being metaphorical. I do weird things like that, right? So, but my thing is that it doesn't really fit with the knitting crafting thing. And I basically use my Instagram for, cats, knitting, and something else I might be starting soon. But that's, it, right? So I'm thinking of changing my Instagram to Serenova Crafts, because that's the name of my podcast, Serenova Crafts. I call it the Serenova Crafts podcast, but it's Serenova Crafts. And Serenova is kind of just a username I've adopted as me on the internet. It used to be Kaita Serenova, it actually used to be Kaita Serenity, because I was really into Sailor Moon. Then it became Kaita Serenova, and excuse me, I'm getting a phone call. Alright, sorry about that. The phone call I got was for something to do with my unemployment, so I needed to take it. I couldn't not take that phone call. But obviously I cut it out so you guys don't have to listen to me. So anyways, as I was saying, used to be really into Sailor Moon, so my usernames used to, revolve around that. And then, as I got a little older, and my interest in Sailor Moon hasn't really waned, considering I have a bookshelf with all of the manga and doujinshi on it, right over there. But I did want a username that was more me, and Serenova just kind of fit. I really liked it. I mean, Sarah is a shortened form of Serenity, and then Nova for star, and so I liked it. And I just kind of ran with it, and now it's just my thing. It's my Ravelry name, it's my Twitter name, it's actually my Facebook, it's what I originally used on Instagram, it's my go-to, right? I've even used it on job websites as my username for Monster or whatever. It's my kind of online name now, right? The only problem is that that's an actual name of someone in Russia, and she occasionally is on the same site as me, and I can't use it. So, I'm dead serious. And so, sometimes what happens is that I have to use Serenova 1987, because that's my birth year, so Serenova 1987, right? So anyways, I'm off track. If you think I should change my Instagram name to Serenova Crafts, because I think it would actually be more appropriate than Serenova_Phoenix, let me know. I've been thinking about that for a couple of months now, because I'm a year and a little more into this podcast, and I feel like my Instagram name isn't reflecting me anymore, so, yeah, let me know what you think. I appreciate the feedback. So, this podcast is already longer than last week's, and I haven't even shown you any knitting yet, so, but today's episode title is A Long Weekend, because it was a long weekend. If you watched last week's episode, which is 5 minutes, so, it's not really that long, I was house sitting last weekend, and by house sitting, I mean I was kid/dog/cat/house sitting. It was 2 kids, a dog, 2 cats, and the house itself. And, I was in charge of all of them for what was supposed to be 5 days and 4 nights, and ended up being 5 nights and 6 days. So, because, mom ended up getting home later than one mom ended up getting home later than anticipated. The other mom was always coming home on the later day, but mom 1, got delayed, so ended up being can you stay one more night? I'm yeah, sure, fine. I don't need to worry about it. So the kids were good, everybody was fed and clean, and the house didn't burn down. And Kevin came over, and we had some fun with one of the swords, so I will put pictures in at the end of that. At the end of the episode of me swinging a sword and killing some fruit, because Kevin took his car to get inspected on Saturday, and it didn't pass. We had to have some work done. And instead of leaving him sitting at the shop for 6 hours because he didn't have any other transportation, I went and picked him up because I was only 20 minutes away. Where I was house sitting is like a half hour from where I live. So, like, it wasn't like I was that far away from home, right? And so, I go and pick him up. He's like, let's swing by the apartment and get a sword and then get some produce, and we can have some fun in the backyard. Because at the apartment, you can't exactly go outside and swing a sword around. People will call the cops. However, you know, on a private property, in a backyard, in another town, where nobody can see us, nobody's going to get offended. And the younger kid had fun. We couldn't get the older one to join in. He decided he didn't want to do it. But the girl, she had fun, and the sword was almost as big as she was. It was really funny. But so I'll put those pictures in at the end. And then the rest of the weekend was just, I took the kids out to dinner one night, and the younger one and I watched a lot of Disney movies because she's a huge fan. And, I mean, the animals, they were really good for me. I didn't know them too well going into it, and we're not, like, best buds now or anything, but, things went well, and we didn't have any arguments or anything. I mean, there was some normal sibling stuff, but it wasn't that bad. And so, and they might have me do it again when they do other shows and stuff, or, you know, and they might have me come out on occasion, so. But overall, it was just a long weekend because I was away from home, and, I'm not used to having to take care of dogs. I don't know how to take care of cats. Those cats are easy. But dogs are a little different, and I'm not too confident around kids simply because I've never really babysat. I didn't do that, like, growing up. I didn't have, like, a babysitting business. I didn't look after kids. I'm the youngest grandchild on one side of my family, so, like, there's nobody younger than me. I don't have, you know, by the time I got younger cousins or kind of siblings, I was already old enough that, like, yeah, so that was been a little awkward, but at least, like, these kids are old enough that I could talk to them and have a conversation and we could discuss things, so, but it was really interesting because we watched the original Fantasia from 1940s, 1940, 1944. Don't quote me on when it is. I know it's from the early 40s, right? And there is some stuff that could be constituted as racist in it, but, like, and so I was explaining this to the younger of the two that going, look, it's a product of its time. When it was made, this was not considered offensive. Or, if it was considered offensive, everyone just kind of let it slide. But today, it's not okay. And, like, I had to explain it in a way that an 11-year-old would understand, and I'm not quite sure I got it through to them, so the moms might be getting some questions, but I think I did okay. And that's the thing with watching stuff that's, you know, older than 20 years, is that there can be things like racism and off jokes and stuff that would not fly today at all. But back then, were fine. Nobody batted an eye. And so, like the crows in Dumbo, like, holy crap, the crows in Dumbo, right? And there's a reason nobody can find Song of the South anymore. Like, there's seriously stuff that, like, Disney refuses to, like, admit it day anymore. But so, like, having to explain that to somebody who was younger than me, it was a little difficult because they haven't necessarily lived through as much of the change as I have, and so, like, it totally freaked her out when I told her I was older than the internet as we know it. Like, seriously, I mean, I know the internet existed when I was born, but the internet did not exist as a public thing when I was born. That's why I say as we know it. Because the internet as we know it, starting in the 90s, did not exist when I was born, right? So, anyways, I didn't get way off track, and it's already been 11 minutes. Though I'm gonna have to cut some of it out because of the phone call. So I'm probably at, like, 10 minutes now. So, anyways, on to yarn. I have a finished object. Yeah, there should be, like, sirens blaring. I haven't had a finished object in, like, a month, right? Though I'll probably have another one next week. Or two next week, depending. No, but seriously, I feel like there should be, like, sirens blaring right now because I finished a project, right? So if you follow me on Instagram, you saw yesterday's saga of me playing Yarn Chicken. And I won by 3 inches. I am dead serious. I had 3 inches of yarn left when I finished the bind off on the sleeve. And it was just insane. So, it has not been blocked yet. I didn't want to block it last night because I wouldn't have been able to unpin it this morning to show you guys. So, as soon as I'm done recording, this is getting blocked. But I finished the sweater. Woohoo! It's done. And I'll slip it on for you real quick. Now, it's not my size. I made a large because this is a sample. But I'm a medium. I made mine as a medium. And by the way, this is where I was on sleeve 1 when I showed you last week. And then I finished all of this sleeve, and then I did all of the other sleeve between last week and yesterday. And, so this is not my size. So keep that in mind when I throw it on for you. This is not my size. I made it larger on purpose so that when people were in, like, the booths and stuff, because this is going to be a sample to go to shows, that more people would be able to try it on. If you were a little smaller, it'd be a little looser. If you were a little larger, it'd be a little tighter, but still you could try it on. And see, here's the tail. This is my yarn chicken. This is how close I came to running out of yarn. I'm dead serious. Okay, let me finish putting this on here. So, the sleeves are a little longer than I would make because they are, again, this is not for me, so it's a little large on me overall. But I'll put it on and stand up so you get the gist of it. And obviously it's going to change a little bit once it's blocked, but here you go. So now you can see, and if I pull this down to the prepper, see those are supposed to match, and they do, and this is supposed to be up here, go the opposite direction. So there you go. Please excuse the Halloween pajama pants. It's a little longer in the back because it's got short row shaping. And, yeah, so it is way too big on me. Way too big on me. But, so, I mean, I should not have this much ease in it, right? And if you remember mine from November, mine is tighter. Mine doesn't really have any ease at all. It's got like 0-inch ease. But it's done. It's got a block. And then it's going to be in a fashion show this weekend in Freeport, Maine at Spa. Nita Spa Spin and Knit. I'm going to the retreat this weekend. Yay! So not me, is going to wear this in the fashion show this weekend because I'm going to wear mine. And, yeah, and then this is going to travel with 100 Ravens to all of their shows. And it's going to be there for people to see. They were actually just at Stitches West, and that's why I was house sitting. Because 100 Ravens went to Stitches West, and somebody needed to look after their kids while they were gone. So, yeah, so I still need to weave in the ends on, the inside ends on this arm, because all of these stripes are cut. There's no, carrying of yarn. So I have all of these to weave in. But, actually I'm going to leave this, I'm going to turn it inside out so that I remember to weave in the ends before I block it. And what I do is I weave in the end, but I leave a little bit of a tail so that it can expand, and then I just snip the tail when it's dry. But I'm going to turn this inside out. But it's done, it's done, it's done, it's done, it's done. And, in advance, for winter camp, from the sheer amount of yarn used, right? I got 105 points with no bonuses, no nothing. Got 105 points for winter camp because I used 374 grams. I used 3 full skeins of the main color. So just so you know what the colors are, right? So this main body color, this gray, this is a light gray. This is the entire sweater is 100 Ravens Iacos, which is their 2-ply fingering weight superwash merino base, 100% superwash merino, right? So the light gray color, this one is called Myth Blonde, and it's a tonal gray, as you can see. And then the stripes here are their mini skein gradient set called Dark Mockingjay. And this is the Dark Mockingjay sweater by Mindy Abadili. She's Minuet Knits. I know her from my local yarn shop. I've done other stuff from her in the past. But it's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. So now I have 2 whips for you because I've only worked on 2 in the last week. First is the Carrie shawl. And here it is. It's coming along. Where was I? Here we go. I show it to you on this side. You can see where the marker is, showing you how far I've come. There we go. See the marker? Yay, marker. Ta-da. So I've done that much. Where's the iPad? Sorry, you'll see that in a minute. iPad. 30. I am a repeat and a half away from finishing. Because you do, I don't think it's spoiling it to say you do 6 total repeats of the pattern. I'm not telling you what the pattern is. It is a paid pattern. Excuse me, but saying I do 6 repeats is not, you can figure it out from looking at photos, so I don't feel like I'm giving anything right. Sorry about that. So, I am a repeat and a half away from finishing. So hopefully, this will be an FO next week. It's nice to finish things every once in a while. So, and then the other FO, as soon as I move the marker on this, because I'm going to move the marker, There we go. Close the iPad. Need to grab it out of my purse. Come here. Is my time travel stuff. So I've worked on them a little bit, but not much. I did turn the heel of the second sock. So I'm now on the leg. Trying to get it, got all scrunched being in my bag. So I turned the heel. It's a Fish Lips Kiss heel. I used a different yarn, so my stripes are continuous on the front. And I do 4 repeats of each stripe section. So 1, this is 2, and then I'll have 3, 4. So these might get finished by next week as well, because these are just plain stockinette in the round. So, but that's that. So that's, and I'm going to move my marker on this as well. And, yeah, so that's it for whips and faux. And I do have a smidge of stash. Because Kate, who is 100 Ravens, she brought me back some gift yarn as a thank you for house sitting. And this is from, the Lismore Sheep Farm. I think it's in Maine because it's a 902 area code. So I'm going to say it's in Maine. It's their worsted weight. It's a pure wool. It's 2-ply. It's 4 ounces. With 220 yards, approximate, and the gauge is 18 stitches equals 4 inches on a 4.5 millimeter needle. Now, what is I don't know what a 4.5 millimeter needle is. Just got a freaking, I needed a new thing, because I lost my old one, and, I went with a friend to the store yesterday, and so I'm like, for $2.50 I'll get a Susan Bates aluminum one, right? So let's see. If I can get it out of the stupid package. Oh my god. This is going to go in my notions pouch. Let's see. A 4.5 millimeter is a US 7. So, boop. So, on a US 7, it's 18 stitches to 4 inches. So, got 2 skeins in ruby. And it's coming out darker than it is on the camera. Maybe if I hold it close enough, it'll blow it out. That's about right there. That's, I'm completely blown out, but that's about the color. So, and now it's too dark again, but got 2 skeins of that as a thank you. Well, this wasn't I did get paid to house it, but this wasn't my payment. This was just a gift. But it's very rustic, so I'm not sure I do it as like a next to skin thing, maybe a hat or something, because it is a little scratchy. And it still smells sheepy. But there's nothing wrong with smelling sheepy. It doesn't smell like gross sheepy. It just goes, yeah, that's wool. It's just that kind of sheepy smell. So, yeah, that's about it. So I was hoping that 2 packages I was waiting for would have gotten her today before I recorded, but they're out for delivery, but they haven't been delivered yet, right? Because the clothing order I ordered a while back finally shipped and is arriving today. It should be, and another thing I decided to do was take the plunge and start a bullet journal. I don't know if you guys have heard about bullet journal, but it's a really deep rabbit hole. So if you don't want another rabbit hole to go down, don't go there. But it's a really deep rabbit hole. And it's the bullet journal. I'll link it in the show notes. I'm just making a note. It's an idea developed by this guy named Ryder. And what it is that, sorry, I'm pulling up the website so I can read it to you guys, because, yeah. I'm waiting for the website to load. Sorry about that, folks. What it is that it's a specific way of taking notes and keeping track of your life and doing it, with a specific system in mind and a way to follow everything. So it says the bullet journal is a customizable and forgiving organizational system. It can be your to-do list, sketchbook, notebook, and diary, but most likely it will be all of the above. It will teach you to do more with less. The bullet journal is modular by design, allowing you to mix and match pieces to build the ultimate system for your specific needs. And then, it just talks about the system itself. And so what it is that you have different parts of it. And this is all available on the website, right? I'm just reading you guys the beginning. But it's based in rapid logging, which is note-taking and traditional journaling take time. The more complex the entry, the more effort is expended. The more effort expended, the more of a chore it becomes, and the more likely you'll underutilize or abandon your journal. Rapid logging is the solution. Rapid logging is the language in which the bullet journal is written. It consists of 4 components: topics, page numbers, short sentences, and bullets. So the first step of rapid logging is to add a topic on the top outer corner of the page. A topic is simply a short descriptive title give it a little thought as it can help clarify your entry. Once it's done, be sure to number the page. As you start filling your bullet journal, get into the habit of titling and numbering your pages before you add content, right? And so it goes on and on and on. It talks about the different kinds of bullets and tasks and events and how you log everything, right? And you can do this in any old notebook, right? But I'm a fan of fountain pens. This is the one I have just in reach. This is a Noodler's Ahab Flex. It's the clear demonstrator, so as you can see, I have actually ink in here. And this is is this Apache Sunset or Dragon's Napalm? What was I writing last with it? This is Apache Sunset. So the ink is Noodler's Apache Sunset. And I got both from gouletpens.com. I know, I'm going into other territory now that has nothing to do with knitting. So this is like other for a while. So you can use any old notebook paper, but these like classic composition books, which I use these for a ton of stuff, are not fountain pen friendly. This ink bleeds through like 6 pages of these, right? So not fountain pen friendly at all. So I wanted a journal to use that would be fountain pen friendly. So like it doesn't matter if I use a ballpoint or a fountain pen or whatever, right? Because I do carry fountain pens around in my purse, which is probably a little dangerous, but I do it anyways. And so the bullet journal has an actual journal you can buy from the guy, right? So I bought it, and it's supposed to be here today, but it's not here yet. So the clothes I'm waiting for are coming today, and the bullet journal is coming today, but I can't show them to you because they're not here yet. But they're both out for delivery. I've been like maniacally refreshing the tracking button. And like USPS says, out for delivery, and FedEx is in Londonderry, New Hampshire. And I'm just like, yeah. I mean, Londonderry's 15 minutes away, but still, I want my stuff, right? So, it still says Londonderry, but it says delivery today by 8 p.m. And, yeah, USPS just says expected delivery today. So, anyways, yeah, sidetrack by bullet journal. Expect to see more of that in the future. I'm planning to start it March 1st. Because you start with like a monthly calendar and then you do the days of the month. So I don't want to start like at the very end of the month. Especially because it's basically, there's less than a week left in February. So, I'm going to start it Tuesday, which is March 1st. So wish me luck. Other news before I go, I do have a VKN tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is -5 GMT. Feel free to come. Google Hangouts is limited to 10 people, but if it's full, just kind of try back in a little while. Maybe somebody will have left. I have my D&D game tonight. Let's see. And I'm going to spa this weekend, so that should be really fun. It's a knitting retreat. It's not like Stitches where there's classes as well as like the marketing and stuff. We're just taking over 3 hotels in Freeport, Maine for 2.5 days. And, everyone just like sits around and spins and knits whenever. So my goal is to actually finish the fiber I have on my wheel so that because I'm taking my spinning wheel with me. My goal is to finish the stuff I have on the wheel before I go, like get it plied, like finish spinning it and ply it before I go. And plying will be faster than finishing the spin. And get it off the wheel so that, when I go, I can start a new spin fresh. And so that's what I'm hoping to do. So wish me luck. Trying to get that done. But I'm going to have a good weekend. We've all agreed, those of us that are all going, we're not to talk politics. Things got a little heated yesterday at knitting. And other than that, things are going pretty good. So I think that's it for this week. And I will be really chatty about spa next week when I see you then, because it will have happened, but I mean, I'm getting excited for it now, but it will have actually happened next week when I talk to you, so I can tell you all about it. So, now I'm rambling, and now I know I need to stop. So I will see you guys next week. Hope it's a good one, and I will see you in March. Bye!